Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Yasin here, and today we are going to talk about Submission Audio's new release, ArchitectsBass. This product captures the essence of Aladdin's Dingwall Super P. It's a great design from Dingwall. It's actually the classic P bass with Dingwall touches. It has new medium pickups, it has multi-scale option, it has design choices when it comes to overall P bass design, and the wood choices to make it lighter but still full and resonant, and so on. If you're interested in the bass, just go to the product page from Dingwall and also check their YouTube channels for Aladdin's Architects playthroughs where he actually used this bass. So what we have here, the overall design for the bass, and let's start with here. Whatever articulation you are using, you will see it in here. And if you are using the alternate picking at that moment of the bass programming, you can either control them through the note length, I'm talking about alternation here, or you can just set it to auto note mode and it's gonna take care of it. We have the Doom button to go 11, maybe 12, depending on how much processing you actually did with the bass. I think, to my experience, it's really good for the breakdowns and the big sections where you need to create some big sound. We have Humanize, which is responsible for velocity randomization, and there are different levels. You can have the very lowest one, basically nothing. That's the machine. Whatever velocity you set, it's gonna play as it is. If you increase it, it will also change the velocity randomization from 0 to something. And normally after machine, the human is a really nice setting to kind of settle in. And if you need a little bit more dynamics in terms of velocity, you can push a little bit more. What I normally do is leave it like in the first phase of Bassist or around mid to end section of human. So it was like this for the demo. Position is kind of a capo. Imagine that you're playing only the notes here, but of course this doesn't stop you to program lower notes, because if there is no place to play that specific note here, of course it's gonna fall back to this area, which is good for making much faster demos. There are 4 string options. You can actually say that I want this note but on this string. So this is a very nice thing to have. And you can either use the 4-string option, or you can automate the position between sections, so you can actually, without putting too much MIDI effect, you can use the automation to your advantage. Let's go to the mixer. What we have here that you will also hear in a bit is drive, adding some saturation to the bass. We have the tone, which excites the bass and making it a little bit more present. Compression, which is really nice to have it in a box. I normally process outside, but for CPU requirements, it's actually much better to use compression here. And you can also create some evenness despite having a humanization here. So it's actually really nice and good to have here. And the girth is kind of responsible, a low, mid push, and you're gonna hear all of them in a bit. We have the settings, and settings basically is kind of responsible for changing the band range, and you have the key switch maps for all the articulations. The gray ones are not included in this library, and the white ones, which is kind of ton, is included, and I'm going to show them to you. And we have the bass tuning. I am not quite sure, but I believe that when you change them, the sampling is also changing, because if you go back here, depending on your programming and depending on your tuning, you can either fret a note or you can just fall back to the nut. So there's a tonal difference when you have that. Since this instrument does not have a 0 fret, this difference is not so slight. So I would kind of suggest you to actually use this area. What I have here, and since this is a 4-string instrument, you have 4 different 4-string options, but the tuning is set for the 5-string. So it's normally B, E, A, D, but of course I change it to make it a drop tuning, and it's A, E, A, D for this demo purposes. Now the next thing I'm going to show you, and I think I didn't mention that we have the I tone, we have the clean tone, and we have the distortion tone here. So you can just use the DI and use plugins to amplify it. I use Neural DSP Parallax, not in this demo, but overall, if I want to create my own tone for the bass, it's a really, really nice, advantageous thing. And DI is, everything is sampled really well here, in my opinion, and DI is no exception. And Clean has this clean amp with a little bit of push. Is pretty nice. It's something that you would really use for dynamics here, and maybe push it with the drive a little to make it a little bit more bass crunchy. The bass players won't like what I said, but anyway, the distortion context is for all the metal stuff, and since it's Architects Bass, I hope that you're familiar with the overall sound of the guys. So this was the Architects Bass UI and the features. What I want to show you now is isolated version of the demo that you just heard, and you will hear the bass with all the articulations that I put there. Everything is kind of 4-string added. I don't use position knob too much. Instead, I use 4-string for each note to make sure that I am playing and following the guitar. This is how I program the bass most of the time. I got it from Nolly. It's supporting the guitars all the time. The riff is kind of similar, and it is creating this V shape that we really like in periphery. Let me close this and make the bass a little bigger. I mean the grid. And before I play, I just want to show you, what I used. These are the string overrides that I have. Actually, I can just do this and it's going to show all the notes here. And what we have, and unfortunately, I'm not quite sure if Logic is still not capable of doing this, but we don't have the note mappings here, but other DAWs, I think they support it. We have the string overrides, whatever I played, and we have some articulations that I used within the song. Since I come up with the guitar when it comes to this riff, I followed the exact same techniques that I used in the demo with the guitar, which are slide 1 tapping, like a reference. We got hammer and pull a lot. I didn't use harmonic or dead notes too much here, and I took the advantage of using palm mutes and picked down for a little bit more aggressive approach. And that being said, what I will do is to isolate the bass, and I'm going to let you hear everything from start to finish. I am not going to disable the signal chain right now, but I'm going to introduce what I did with processing on the bass only. If you're interested, if you really like the demo and the mixing in the demo, please let me know, and I will do another video where I actually talk about every single thing here. But until then, I will show you the whole bass processing, and I will disable them, enable them one by one, and you're gonna hear the difference, both in context and isolated. Let's start by hearing the whole thing. You already heard that in the context. So what I'm gonna do right now is to explain what I did in the processing, and I will enable them one by one and let you hear. I think I should do that in the first part of the riff. So the first one, let's disable them. And actually, I'm going to play without the signal chain, so you're gonna actually hear this only gain down for the whole template leveling and gain up for the gain staging. What I'm going to do is to play without any signal, so sorry, any signal chain, any processing. So this is actually what you hear when you open the plugin. I'm gonna change it to clean. NDI. And when you actually open the mixer, you can see that the settings are saved individually. So when you have your own setting in the contact, when you make your own presets, you can actually make it for both DI and clean and distortion. Just a small detail that I want to mention. And what I'm going to show you now, just going back and starting by what we have here is a vintage tube EQ, which is based on the Pultec here. And what I did here is a bit of low and high boost to make it a little bit more present or full. This is with and without. I will start without. The next one is the vintage graphic EQ, which helped me to push 2K and 4K just a little bit to make it a little bit more present. The next one is Double Tap. This is another Submission Audio product that I kind of got late when it comes to using it. I had to rewatch Armin's video about how to dial it better. So this is a two-stage compressor, and it starts with the low compression, which gives you the ability to tame your low end first, and after that you can actually boost or reduce it a little bit. Then the all compression, meaning overall compression, just starts, and you can push it after the whole low compression ends. This is really nice, and I think it's also very good for the very low tuned guitars. I didn't test that yet, but I definitely will. And let's hear it with and without, which is a huge difference. This one is kind of new to me. This is Universal Audio's oxide tape. It is helping me with the tape saturation and analoginess, if that's a word. Normally I use virtual tape machines from Slate Digital, but I wanted to try this out since I have it, and lower IPS value helps me to boost the low end much better, and hopefully you will hear it. I really suggest you to check with your headphones, and if possible in a really nice acoustically treated environment with big monitors. I mean, it's kind of hard to match, so headphones are most of the time a little bit better to test this. last one is Soothe here. This one is responsible to create space for the kick. So whenever kick hits, we create space from the bass. We are ducking this area. And it's really good to have with Soothe because you can use dynamic EQ or multiband compression with sidechain. And this one is kind of foolproof method if you have Soothe. Now, if I change the bass or the kick or add some augmentation samples for the kick, it still works. I don't have to do anything. I just put this because the area is already provided, and Soothe works dynamically to duck the area where kick is kind of dominant. And it's helping a lot. So let me show it to you in the context, because by itself as isolated it's not doing anything. Kick hits much better. It's not muddy anymore, it's clean. You can hear every detail regarding the kick because they are sharing the same space with the bass, and we gotta do this. But besides that, I didn't cut anything from the bass, which is something that I normally don't do. Normally I just put the EQ there, sometimes a bit of high pass to clean it up for preventing build up for my limiter at the end. But for this one, I didn't do it, and I am kind of happy about the whole demo. So what I'm going to do now, disable everything here, and I'm going to show you it in the context. I will enable everything one by one so you can hear which plugin adds which effect, basically. And that's it with the bass processing. I hope you liked the demo. If you have any questions about that, please let me know, put in the comment section. If you actually want a full mix rundown of this demo, I can also provide you that. Please let me know so I can actually make a video of that. And if you have any questions, you know what to do. And now we are going to check the articulations. While I'm waiting the articulations project open, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and check my other videos. I do Periphery, Alto Bridge, Tremonti, Dream Theater, Epica, and so on covers. I do song remakes. I make songwriting, riff writing videos and live streams. I do mixing videos and live streams. And I am putting some playthroughs of my own songs. If you want to check my songs and listen in your favorite platform and add to your playlist, the links are in the description. Thank you so much. The project is open and let's check it out. Okay, we're gonna start with alternate picking. It's something that you heard before already. So this articulation is kind of the default behavior of the audio library. So if I only play the notes, like, it's gonna be in alternate picking. And of course, depending on the alternate picking algorithm, there will be pick up and pick down, but you won't be able to see that in the articulation window here. So for that reason, I just programmed the pick down and ups here, and that's you are going to hear in a second. And if you change actually the order, let me do it for you, you get a different results. I'm just gonna move that up, move this here, and move this down. It's kind of physics thing because you're against gravity when you're picking up, so there's a little bit of difference. And if you want to take advantage of that, I suggest you to use pick up and down, which I do. In the demo, I used a lot of pick down to make a little bit more aggressive sound. The next one is the dead note. It's something that I don't use. It's really good for percussive motion, and I actually think that I should add that in the future demos because it sounds sick. For some reason, even with the especially with the dead note and this note pattern that I just randomly programmed, it sounds like Linkin Park. I don't know. Slap and pop is the next articulation. It's again something that I don't use much, but it sounds so cool that I actually should. We have slap, pop, that slap, and that pop here, so that's what you're gonna hear in a bit. It sounds amazing. I really like that. The next one is harmonic. I don't use this one as well. This is something that's in time you get better and better with bass programming and drum programming, and you realize the importance of the articulations, you realize the importance of humanization, and I'm doing this for the last 5 years. I'm getting better and better at this, but there are still articulations that I didn't use, and that's actually one of the reasons that I have two basses with me and I still use Submission Audio, because their tracking is perfect, and when I program I have a very nice reliable result. But still, I really want to play the bass sometimes just to understand the importance of this articulation so I can appreciate and use more often. So harmonic is one of those articulations that I want to use in the future. Let's hear it. We also have pick down. I forgot to say, but it's clearly audible. The next one is hammer on and pull off. It's like a must to have this and use this. I'm not joking, especially you are into modern metal. And for this, we are in the same string. It's kind of important to know that, hammer on and pull off. You're probably not doing hammer on from nowhere here. For that reason, I started with pick down and followed with hammer on and pull off. While programming this tapping, slide, hammer on and pull off, we need to have this fourth string, and in between the notes you are putting the articulation. So this can be a very long slide, for example, and it's gonna calculate it automatically. If you wanna do a different kind of controlled slide, like 10 frets of slide, but it starts slow and progresses after that, it becomes a little bit faster, like something like that. With the mouth, it's not a good example, but anyway, in that case, you can also put all the notes in between, so you can control all the slide while maintaining the overall sound with this articulation programming method. Anyway, what we have here is the tapping. So we start with down picking. After that, we do a hammer on, and after that, we do a tapping, and we go back with the tapping and continue. The note choices are pretty similar because I copy pasted, but hopefully it's giving you the detail that you need. The next one is slide. It's also happening in the same string. That's kind of important because it's slide. Let's go. Let's continue. Slide was really nice, and it's one of the most used techniques when I program. This articulation is very important for me. The next one is actually, the name is wrong. Let me check. It's the fret hand mute. I think this is for a little bit cleaner context, movement, and articulation. I never ever used this before, but it would be really nice to try it out. The next one is the palm mute. I already used that in the demo. It sounds amazing, and I'm gonna let you hear it right now. One more detail here. I forgot to mention that we have palm mute alternate, so you can use the same alternate picking algorithm, but only for the palm mute. So this is kind of important. If you want to have that, you can also do that. If you're thinking that you don't have to control your down pick and upward picking, it is a great choice to have this. The next one is Death Drum. It sounds amazing. I definitely see myself using this in the future demos. Of course, it's kind of, there's a combination also of him picking, so it sounds good. The next one is not an articulation. This is just a repeater. In case you don't know, if you use B-1 in the Submission Audio products, you repeat the previous note. I don't have a good reason why you should do it. I think in simpler riffs and choruses, for example, it will be kind of nice to keep the pattern on a B-1 and change the note that you're actually kind of using if you don't have too many movements. And it's kind of nice to have this way, because what you need to do if you kind of programmed a very, very simple kick just to keep the rhythm and record against the drums. And after that, you actually program the bass after tracking your guitars, and you're in the drum programming part. What you can do is just, move all the B-1 notes to your drum kick, and now you have the kick pattern for your riff, and you can just use that and change the patterns, make it a little bit more interesting. In modern metal, especially with the kick, you can use it to follow the riff. It sounds really good. This is what I did with the demo and other demos that I actually had before, and I think it's a really nice feature. But besides this one, I don't have a real use case. Maybe if you know, you can just put it in the comment section. So this was ArchitectsBass from Submission Audio. Ali Dean of Architects, Dingwall Super P. Essence is captured really nicely. The articulations are amazing. Sampling is amazing. And if you have any questions after the whole review, please ask them in the comment section. Ask them in the comment section, and I will do my best to answer. If I also don't know it, at least I can do some experimentation and get you back. If you're interested in the whole mix of this demo, please let me know and I can make a video about it. I am Yasin. I'm doing prog metal GNT stuff, and I'm doing my best to review really nice products, and I hope to see you on the next video. Please subscribe, turn the notification bell, and check the other videos. I hope to see you first in the comment section and on the other videos. See ya.